My YouTube channel has less than 400 subscribers but closes me clients every single month. Because I've written more than 100 VSLs and I now know exactly what VSLs sell and what don't. So after trying every single VSL framework that I could get my hands on, there's one framework that I use over and over again. It's short as hell, it increased our sales by 50%, and the people who show up on our sales calls are ready to buy before we even speak. And in addition to that, me and my client Oscar Patel partnered up in order to scale his info business to more than $125,000 a month, and we use this exact VSL framework to do so. So here it is. Here's the exact VSL framework I use to write VSLs that sell anything to anyone. They say if Mercedes-Benz actually gave away cars completely free of charge, they would still make a profit, because the amount of data they collect from their drivers would sell so many cars that they would make the money back. Not collecting enough data on the person that you want to reach is going to break your neck, because there's so many VSLs out there that unless you address them so precisely that they feel like you're literally talking to them through the screen and you've been watching them through the screen for the last 20 days, it'll look like you're just like everyone else online trying to sell them something that isn't for them. So figure out their desire, problems caused by the desire, internal struggles caused by the problems, obstacles that prevent them from getting the desire, what they have tried before, and what is the real reason they have that desire. The real reason a 40-year-old dad of 3 children is going to want to lose weight is not because he wants to get healthy or get fit, but actually because every single night that he comes home from work, he just lies down next to his wife and he realizes every single time that she lost complete interest in him because he let himself go and he's just not attractive anymore. And he is scared that in the next few months she might even file for a divorce if he doesn't catch himself again. And you can morally use that under the circumstance that your product can actually save his marriage and make sure that 3 children are going to grow up together with their dad and their mom in their household. Now, in order to answer all these questions, there are 3 things that you can do. The first one is, if you have an existing audience on Instagram or Twitter or an email list, you can use that just by asking them. Send them a survey that they can fill out, and in return you'll give them a free product for filling out all the questions. If you don't have the luxury of an entire audience but you have a couple clients, simply ask them these 6 questions on the call and take the most common answers. If you don't have any of that and you don't have any of these luxuries, all you got to do is to define the ideal person that you want to target, literally through a paragraph, and then you ask ChatGPT to outline 10 possible answers for that question every single time, and you pick the one that fits your ideal buyer the best. You'll need to trust your gut a bit, because we're going to use that data now immediately inside the intro. When you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents of your advertising dollar. That's a quote from David Ogilvy. He's the founder of the most successful advertising agency in the world. They advertise for Shell, Guinness Beer, Dove, and Rolls-Royce. And in order to actually understand the intro, I don't want to just give you a framework on what to write, but I actually want to give you the exact intro that I've written for one of my clients a few days ago. His VSL has ripped through his audience. It has made a fuck ton of sales. And the way that it works is actually quite simple. I'm going to go through it and I'm going to explain the entire framework upon it. I don't leak my clients' VSLs or numbers, so I'm not going to mention his name, but basically he's a looks maxing coach, which means a guy who's teaching people how to become more attractive by becoming healthier and therefore externally looking better, feeling better, being more energized, etc., etc. You get the point. Now, the thing about the intro is if you don't nail the intro, you can basically skip and leave this entire video, because what's the point in nailing step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 if you don't even nail the intro? Nobody will even watch that far. It consists of personal story, promise of desire, problem, obstacles, and internal issues. My name is Name. Growing up, the way I looked was constantly on the back of my mind. That's quite simple. The personal story has one singular goal, which is to actually make it relate to the person that is reading the thing. Then we have a promise of desire. In the next few minutes, I will completely break down how I transformed myself from this to this within a few years after the age of 18. You don't actually need to have this, like breaking your own transformation down or your own results. If you haven't had results for your own, it might be that you've had results for a lot of clients. So you'll save that instead. After that, we get to a problem that people can relate to. An external problem is a problem that people see in their day-to-day life. Like, for example, I'd zoom in on every group photo I was on, spotting acne, my bloated face, and my underdeveloped face, asking myself, why does nothing I try actually work? Something that they can relate to. When was the last time that you've seen somebody upload a group photo of you and them, and you zoomed in on it because you look ugly on that photo and that person just didn't even care about it? After that, we get to the obstacles. All the skincare diets supplements, mewing, and health stories just didn't deliver than the internal issues which are caused by all of the above. I followed hour-long routines with zero results until I gave up, thinking maybe it was just genetics or I wasn't disciplined enough to stick to it. It was draining. Internal issues are basically the internal feelings that are caused by the external problems. I felt horrible. I tried to change. I couldn't change. So internally, I thought maybe I'm just not disciplined enough. Maybe it was just my genetics. Doubt. It was draining. Exhaustion, right? What feelings are caused. The purpose of all of this is not to sell. We're not selling yet. The only purpose is to make sure that people actually watch the thing because they feel like, fuck, I can relate. Step 2 is the discovery of a new opportunity. Your opportunity must be new. If it isn't, people will assume that you're trying to sell them something that they've tried before and that they failed with. If they've tried it already and they failed with that method, it is hard to sell it to them again. So you need to share your own unique and new story about how you discovered that new thing. In our case, but then something changed. I had tried all the looks maxing BS and was left with the stuff that actually worked. No product nor technique, but evolutionary biology. That is our new opportunity. Evolutionary biology. Let me explain. The next step is to sell the new opportunity, and the way to do that is through the clarity pyramid, a framework that I've actually stolen from Matt Gray, that he uses it for his YouTube videos, and I've just put it into my VSLs. It's quite simple. The first one is to have one belief that you need to prove. Under that, you have 3 supporting arguments in order to prove that thing. And after that, we have data, results, and anecdotes that serve us as proof to prove our point. So let's get into detail. I'm gonna mark the one belief first, which is actually this here. Then something changed. I tried all the looks maxing BH and was left with stuff that actually worked. No product nor technique, but evolutionary biology. So basically, one belief is the solution to my problem is evolutionary biology. So how do we actually back that up? I'm gonna mark every supporting argument with red and every single asset of proof with blue. So let's get to the supporting argument. Since the Stone Ages, human beings were hardwired to identify the partner who was most capable to provide for them. Scientists call that ability to survive reproductive fitness. The stronger you were, the healthier you were, etc., etc. Traits such as broad shoulders, healthy skin, a deep voice, and many, many more signal strength, health, and testosterone, also called reproductive fitness. What we're basically explaining here is the reason why it works is because of something that we call reproductive fitness. So reproductive fitness is actually argument 1. And then we get to the next point. In as little as 30 milliseconds, people judge somebody as attractive or not by picking up on these traits. This is argument 2. And then afterwards, we have our first point of proof. In a study conducted in the UK, they showed well-developed faces to a set of random people, and people today still rated them as more dominant and successful. That's proof, right? We're not only talking about that. Is actually quite important. A lesson that you always need to take into all of your VSLs is show, don't tell. Whatever you do, whether it is a result, whether it is a study, data, statistics, anything you want to prove, also anything else that you talk about that you want to use an example, always show, don't tell. On one hand, it actually proves what you're talking about and it makes you more believable. If you don't do that, people just won't believe what you're saying. So always back up everything that you want to say with proof. If you don't have proof, don't say it. And on the other hand, it is actually easier for them to understand the thing if you show them a visual explanation of the thing. And then we've got proof 2, which is data. Studies show symmetrical faces, defined jaws, and cheekbones make you more attractive. Proof 2. And then we've got proof 3. My skin cleared, my face debloated, my jawline sharpened, I looked and felt unrecognizable. Why is this proof? Again, because we're showing pictures. We're not just telling people that we're getting these results, we're showing them. And then we get to argument 3. I needed X amount of time per day to do that because I simply eliminated everything that got me little to no results. So the third argument is basically that we don't need as much time as other routines and whatever, but we only needed 20 minutes a day in order to do this. That's why evolutionary biology is actually the best thing to focus on. Results-based objection handling. Here's the thing. People might believe that you have the best solution in the world, but they're just not gonna buy it if they don't actually believe that they themselves can execute on it correctly. I may think that SMMA is the best business model for beginners in 2025. But if I think that I don't have enough discipline or enough time in order to send 50 emails a day to random entrepreneurs, I'm not gonna buy your $2,000 course. So it is your job to convince me that my limiting beliefs are of no importance. I'm gonna mark every single objection handled with yellow. At first, I myself chalked it up to the fact that I may just have good genetics or I was lucky, but then I taught it to Pascal. So objection number 1, genetics. I don't have the right genetics. It's just genetic and that's why I'm ugly. A lot of people actually think that, which is stupid. You didn't even have the time in a day nor motivation to commit to any routine for more than a week, right? A lack of time is the next objection. Well, a few months down the line, he changed completely. Now, am I saying that once you apply the system, you will magically see your entire physical appearance change in a few days? No. But what I can promise is that there are dozens of members who have gone through the exact same process and could see first results visible for no more than 2 weeks. What's the purpose of this? This is what we call a but clause. A but clause is probably the most powerful tool I've ever used in my entire life. It's one sentence, but the purpose of it is actually that you say something vulnerable before the but and you say something that promotes the product after the but. In this case, we're actually using an objection. We're going to say, hey, I can't give you results in a few days, but what I can give you is results within 2 weeks because a lot of people have achieved it. It's very powerful. Here it actually serves the objection of people thinking that this is just another scam. It's just another scheme, another idea from some marketer who thinks I'm going to sell you a course and promise you the world. We're saying, hey, we're not promising you the world. We are different. You can apply this to every single VSL, by the way, because this is a common pattern inside the info space. If you sell something, people will think that you're trying to promise them the world, but you're going to under-deliver because everybody does. Whatever niche you're in, use this. Pre-handle this objection. And there's not a Metahan who got results. James too was skeptical after trying everything, but he finally saw results as well. I could keep going forever, but I think you get the point. A lot of people online have told us that all you need is to be healthy or use this technique or that routine or this method because simplicity sells. Another objection. I have tried it already. We're saying, hey, me too. Those people too, but look at the results. So the purpose of this is to take all the results that you've gotten with your clients and basically connect them to all the objections that people have had. The problem is, if you don't know the most common objections of your clients, you're just going to handle somebody's objections, but not the objections that people will actually have. So this part will change over weeks and weeks and weeks over and over again as you discover new objections that people have. The next part is the offer. Everything they used is inside product name, a community of individuals who all follow one singular goal, looking and feeling confident. It contains, here's the thing, when you line up the benefits or the features of your product, never, ever just name what you have inside your product. Nobody calls about the specific types and things that you have inside your product. What they actually care about is what do I get? And people don't get a routine, they get results. They don't get a method, they actually get to become more attractive. That's the thing that they want. So you don't actually name them the thing, but you name them the thing and then the benefit of that thing. An entire step-by-step library on eyes, hair, skin, jaw, face, cheekbones, shoulders, and more optimized to work for any person, no matter age or genetics. It's very important. That's the benefit of a thing. We first got this library. The benefit is that it's actually for any person, no matter age or genetics. Complete set of bonus modules added to that. And phase 1, a 14-day program that is designed to get first results visibly within 14 days for just X amount of time per day. We're not just saying a 14-day program, but we're saying, hey, that 14-day program is actually going to get you the benefit of getting first results visibly within 14 days, but also just with 20 minutes per day. Now, you may have individual conditions that make you different than others, which is why everybody has access to our post function, where you can ask questions and get direct feedback from other members, just like Metahan and Pascal and me. We're not just saying we're going to have a post function, we're saying you have individual conditions that make you different than others. That's why we have the post function. Again, the benefit is that it serves your individual conditions. Improving the way you look is not normal, and you will need to have people around you who go through thick and thin with you until you achieve your goal. That is why we implemented a global map. We name the benefit, we name the product, etc., etc. You get the point. The next steps are the 2 calls to action. And I'll give you all that I just mentioned for $37 a month. If that sounds of any interest, click the button on the right side to join now. You can cancel anytime. Quite simple. In your case, it might be book a call or do whatever actually you want them to take. And then the next step is the price of a community is currently at $37 a month. We build scarcity now, but the more people join, the more workload I will have, which is why I will need to raise the price of a community to $59 a month as soon as too many members have joined. But if you lock in the membership now, you keep the $37 a month price until you cancel it yourself. So lock in the membership now with a button on the right side. What's the purpose of this? Make sure that people actually buy now and don't actually push it to another date, another day, or another time. Now here's the thing. A lot of people fuck this step up. Why? Because they're using the same techniques that Iman Ghazi or Alex Ramosi have used years ago in 2020. They tell them, oh, we have limited spots. I'm only gonna take 20 people on. No, you're not. You want to make money. Nobody believes you. Nobody thinks, oh my God, I need to buy that thing. No, what they think is, why are you fucking lying to me? That's so weird. I would have bought your product anyway, although they wouldn't have. So give them a reason that you can actually back up. Sometimes, yes, you have limited spots, but then give them a real reason why you have limited spots. Don't just tell them. Sometimes you're going to increase the price. Give them a reason why you increase the price. But in my case, I do all of this done for you and done with you for my clients at Audiencia. I've scaled some info businesses very successfully with this stuff. And what I tell people is there's going to be a point in time where I won't have enough time anymore to serve all my clients at a time. And I'll need to spread myself too thin. And at that point, I'm going to need to hire coaches and consultants. And I'm never going to work with you one-on-one anymore. So if you want to work with me one-on-one, the time is now, not in a few months when I have too many clients to serve you. And what many people don't realize is that you can actually upload your VSLs and get a fuck ton of free traffic to your VSL completely free of charge. YouTube will even pay you for it. Iman Ghazi did that actually very successfully, and he uploaded a VSL on YouTube that got 9.6 million views and ultimately got him tens of thousands of clients just because he uploaded his VSL on YouTube. We looked at the script and we applied a few little changes to the script of one of my clients, Oscar Patel, uploaded that script on YouTube, and now he makes more than 100K a month every single month because he just uploads his VSLs on YouTube. Am I going to tell you that you're going to get 9.6 million views on your VSL? Probably not. I'm still figuring out how to go viral on YouTube and I'm learning. But if you want to get a couple extra clients completely for free, the video breaking down the few changes is up here. I want to thank you for your time and I'm really glad that I could help you today. If you need me, I'm here.